Welcome to the What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Oily podcast, where we are learning to overcome adversity and fulfill our destinies. I'm your host, Ashanti. I'm a minister on the path to ordination, a loving wife, mother, and full-time dreamer. I help people change their thinking, increase their faith, and take action to live their most meaningful and purposeful life. My hope and prayer for you is that today's episode will encourage you and offer guidance through whatever struggles you're facing. When life's challenges feel like they're beginning to crush you, remember that you too are an olive, and the best part of you is the oil within. Without further ado, grab a snack and let's pour out. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. This is your host, Ashanti, and I'm so thankful that you could join me today. You know, God has been so good to me, and I'm so thankful that I get to come on here and just share His goodness and His love with you every single week. And I thank you so much for showing up every single week. For those of you who have been faithfully listening, thank you so much for doing this. It blesses me. It gives me purpose. It helps me to do what God has called me to do. And I wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't volunteer your time to be with me every single week. And so I just want to say thank you for this. And today's episode is going to be pretty short because I'm just giving a quick little announcement. Lately, God has been doing a lot of changing in me and in my thoughts and with the podcast as well. And I find that what God is doing is meant for His kingdom. And we started off with this podcast, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Oily. And we started off on the path to purpose and on the path to finding the oil within. And I believe that God is redirecting us and He's shifting us into a new direction with the same goal. But this direction is solely for Him. And I believe that it was designed for this day, for today, right now, for such a time as this. So I'm going to go ahead and just announce this, that the podcast is rebranding. The name of the podcast is no longer going to be What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Oily. It's going to be called Panic Meet Peace. Panic Meet Peace. And this podcast is going to be about overcoming mental and emotional anxiety through faith. I've shared a little bit of my story with anxiety on the podcast before, but God has changed my life. And I will share this story on the next episode on next week. So tune in again next week so that you can hear my testimony and how God delivered me from anxiety and how God is going to help you with the same thing. But I'm really excited about this. I'm excited to announce that this podcast has been rebranded to help others like me overcome anxiety through faith. And if you know someone, please share this with them because we are overcomers and we're still oily. We're just a condensed version of that oil, and we're shifting the perspective, and we're doing things that God is telling us to do. And I know that if you've ever dealt with anxiety, if you know anyone who's dealt with anxiety or is dealing with that, I know that God is here and He is ready to make some changes, and He's ready to help us and give us the power to overcome that. And every day God is pouring into us, and He's healing and He's changing things, and it is so happening. And I know it's hard to see with our eyes, but if you can just put your faith and let your faith be your vision, you will see all that God is doing and all that He's done. And I am prayerfully and faithfully being obedient to God's will with this podcast. So I want to make sure that you guys know the name is going to change. The theme is going to change. The brand is going to have a different look. And the purpose of the podcast is still the same, but it is going to shift more into a focused vision on anxiety. So if you can, just keep your eyes open and stay focused and stay supportive of the podcast. Like I said, I'm so grateful that you guys show up every single week. And I believe that God is going to be giving us even more listeners and giving us more people to minister to. And I'm excited about it. And I'm thankful that God has called me to this. And I'm praying for you. I'm praying that everything that's said on this podcast is going to be so impactful to you and to your life and to your faith. And just don't worry about it. All of the episodes that are still available on the podcast will still be available on the new one. Nothing's changing. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not changing where I'm posting or anything like that. It's just the name of the podcast, the theme of it, and the brand. And again, guys, thank you so much for your support. I've got to get out of here, but I hope that you are excited as I am about what God is about to do. This new season is going to be so amazing. And I am ready to see the glory of God, and I'm ready to hear all of your testimonies of how God is changing your life, how He's pushing you into your purpose, how He's helping you release that oil within, and how He's helping you overcome anxiety. Because we can do anything by faith. The Word of God says that we have already overcome the world, and that we can do anything through Christ who strengthens us. So be encouraged today. Don't give up. Join us next week for a testimony and for some encouraging words. And stay tuned for the rest of the season because it's going to be awesome. Love you guys. See you soon.